Well, I can still remember the day as if it were yesterday. I'd been working for the Lawson Art Gallery for only 4 months when they asked me to represent the gallery at the annual art exhibition in Berlin. It was the opportunity to prove myself. I was ordered to make contact with János Miskolc, a young Hungarian artist my gallery was interested in. Oh boy, I was looking forward to this event. Especially because this would be my chance to finally meet Professor Wolfsberger, a man who's always been a great example to me because of his obstinate vision. Because all flights were overbooked, I had to go by bus. Things were not going the way I planned them. The trip took 20 hours. It was incredibly hot and, above all, the airco wasn't working. When I finally arrived at the hotel, I took a shower. But because I was so nervous about the next day, I stayed up all night thinking about the things that were going to take place. I was a wreck the next day. But despite my physical condition, the day started well for me. I made a lot of contacts, and I even got an appointment with János Miskolc. Around 3 o'clock, I finally met Professor Wolfsberger. He showed some interest in my opinion about how the fall of the Iron Curtain influenced the East European art scene. And just when I was about to show him the paintings I'm interested in, we were interrupted. Irritated by this, I turned around to see who dares to interrupt us. This is my first acquaintance with her. Later, Professor Wolfsberger told me that she was his personal assistant. Although she almost made me miss the chance of my life, I couldn't get her out of my mind. The following days I didn't see her again, and little by little she slipped out of my mind, so I concentrated on my work again. When I got home, everything worked really well for me. 3 weeks passed and I didn't think of what happened in Berlin. Until that letter arrived. There was nothing written on it except for a name and an address. Jana, Lilienstrasse 159, 10376, Berlin, Germany. The first thing that came immediately to my mind was her interruption at the exhibition. Again, I felt a strong urge to be with this woman. But I couldn't do with thoughts like that if I wanted to concentrate on my career, so I decided to let it rest. A few weeks later, when I was cleaning my desk, I stumbled upon her letter. I noticed I was intrigued by it. This also irritated me, but curiosity killed the cat. I decided to write back to her. Her response came 5 days later. She wrote to me about herself. She had such a different way of looking at things, as if a career wasn't important to her. She really enjoyed life and lived by the day. Her letter really touched me. I wanted to write back to her and get to know her better. I was surprised that the letter could have such an impact on me. I wrote back to her, and a correspondence grew between us. I really liked having letters from her, and strangely enough, I started writing more and more things about myself. Then, after 2 months, she wrote to me she would like to see me. As I read this, I had a strange feeling of anxiety. Could it be that I was falling in love? A feeling I've been trying to avoid for such a long time, that this was going to be my woman? I wrote her back that I also wanted to see her. We set a date. On the 2nd of October, I would go to Berlin. The closer the day of my departure came, the more nervous I became. I was so anxious to see this woman that I had trouble concentrating on my work, me, the king of workaholics. But finally the day came that I would see her. When the plane landed in Berlin, my nerves were killing me. In a few minutes I would see her again. Thoughts ran through my head. Will we get along? Will I be a disappointment? Or the other way round? Thoughts like these made it clear to me that I wasn't the same person as I was before. That's why I wasn't prepared for what was about to happen. When I got out of the plane, I walked to the concourse where she would pick me up. But there was no sign of Jana, and the longer I waited, the emptier the hall got. In the end, there was only me and this woman, who was just like me, looking for someone. When I looked her in the eyes, a frightening thought came to my mind. Could it be that this woman is Jana and that it was all a big misunderstanding? That we took each other for the wrong person? As I was thinking this, I could see from the disappointment on her face that she was having the same thoughts. At that moment, we started walking towards each other and explained things. She offered to go to a restaurant to talk in nicer surroundings. A good idea. What started as a big disappointment turned out to be a very enjoyable evening. When she brought me to my hotel, we made an appointment for the next day. She would show me the places she likes in Berlin. Back in my room, I had trouble getting to sleep because I was constantly thinking about this woman. She really made me feel comfortable, and I noticed I wasn't even disappointed Jana was not the same woman that I had seen at the exhibition. I finally fell asleep. The next morning, Jana came to pick me up. We had a great time together. That night I slept at her place.